Welcome to Surviving Love, Rain and Erotica. I hope you enjoy.
I hope you took him for all he's got. Brenda gestured with a piece of cranberry biscotti, then dunked it daintily into her coffee. You gave him 10 years of your life, the best years, in my opinion. The least he can do is shell out alimony. Evie's stomach twisted into a knot, a never-ending Celtic knot, by the feel of it. 35 and already divorced. It wasn't what she had envisioned when she met Richard in college. Can we stop talking about this, please? All of it was beginning to give her a headache. It was enough the divorce papers had just been finalized that morning. She didn't need the constant reminder of how crap her life had turned. She merely wanted to move on. Richard was the past. Who knew what her future would be? Hopefully, something better. Younger, blonde with muscles and maybe some tattoos. She smiled to herself. A bundle of brochures lay in front of her on a small table for two. Traveling, she hoped, would help life make some sense again. A few months abroad just to get a new perspective on things. The problem was she couldn't decide on where to go. Help me make a decision, she pleaded with her friend. You know me. I'm 30 shades of indecisive. I'm the type of girl who spends 10 minutes in the front of the freezer section just trying to decide what flavor ice cream to get. Brenda sighed, clearly bothered she wasn't allowed to bash Richard. That was one of her favorite pastimes. What are your choices? Her fingers spread out the various pamphlets as she looked them over. Prague, London, Jakarta, Melbourne, and Toronto. Not Toronto, that's still North America. You want to go somewhere different, so it feels more like a vacation. She does have a good point, Evie thought. London's nice, a soft male voice said, drifting from behind them. I was there last summer. Had a blast. Evie turned her head and her gaze met with one of Richard's former students. He was young, sporting a baby face and a mop of tousled brown hair. But she remembered him. Richard used to tutor him at their house during the kid's senior year. That was 2 years ago, right when things started to head south. Mrs. Leeds, yeah, the boy asked as he bussed a table near them. He barely looked the same now. His lanky body had filled out nicely to be lean taut muscle. The white t-shirt he wore clung to his arms, displaying enough bulk to be muscular but not beefy. She always had a soft spot for men like that. Runners, gymnasts, swimmers, lithe, agile bodies were incredibly sexy to her. Hey, I'm sorry. She shook her head, pulling herself from her thoughts. I've forgotten your name. He wore a blue apron, and in the center of it was the logo of the coffee house. She couldn't make out the name on his play card. However, he smiled, the most attractive grin she'd ever seen. It lit up his entire face, causing his eyes to crinkle at the corners. That always made her melt. Craig. After tossing the discarded cups into a nearby garbage can, he stepped closer to her, but stopped short of extending his hand. It's really great seeing you again. Brenda chose that moment to clear her throat, announcing her presence. Who's your little friend, Evie? Her voice dripped with curiosity. Evie could only imagine what she was thinking, and it couldn't have been good. He offered her a smile, but with less wattage than he'd given Evie. Mr. Leeds was my senior year calculus teacher. Richard tutored him a few times at the house. Evie cut him before taking a sip. So London, huh? Yeah, London's awesome. He took a seat at the table beside theirs. His eyes were exuberant, excitement written all over his boyish face. Evie wished she had the same thirst for life instead of feeling so jaded. Some friends and I went into a gaming convention there. Last trip before college started. Tables don't bust themselves, Craig, another barista said, a motherly look on her face as she eyed him over the glasses. Craig sighed and heaved himself up. I guess I gotta go. I'll see you around, yeah? He looked so hopeful and eager. Evie hated to burst his bubble. Yeah, sure, she said. God, he was so cute, maybe. He gave another smile and set off continuing with his work. Brenda leaned in on her forearms, a Cheshire cat grin on her face. Great. Evie placed her coffee back down. Best not to drink when receiving a look like that. That's how you should move on, Brenda said, with him. Evie scoffed. I'm probably close to 15 years his senior. Are you insane? Isn't that creepy? And yet, she was beginning to feel the tingle of arousal. What? Brenda shrugged, leaning back against her chair. Men do it all the time. In fact, Richard did it with a girl fresh out of college. Craig's around that age. He's gotta be 20, maybe 21. Sighing, Evie fell silent and stared down at her brochures, relying on Brenda to stop, reminding her was clearly an impossible expectation. Better to think about her trip and not how her ex-husband had humiliated her. A few seconds later, Brenda spoke again. Come on, lady. Concert will be starting soon. We should go. As they exited the cafe, Evie glanced at the counter. Craig gave her a sweet wave goodbye. She couldn't help but wonder what his lips would feel like exploring her body. The next day,
I hope you're enjoying Raining in Erotica, where we step outside the realm of the boundaries that society set for us and stimulate ourselves for forever utopia. On Raining in Erotica, your host Andre, Love, Surviving Love, I'm out.